How's everyone doing? My name is Mr. Patch from Bionic Press. Today I wanted to introduce myself and just talk about some stuff. I think it's important for everybody to have the freedom and security to be able to ask any question, to talk about any subject. In the appropriate time and place, of course. Not being able to talk about your lived experience or ask questions about things that you don't know can cause serious mental and emotional issues. I see it as a repression of an entire section of your experience, a denial of reality, part of what it means to be human. And so, here, with this channel, I want to talk about everything, eventually. But today, I wanted to start with one of the basic motivations of animals on the planet. Fear of the unknown. Fear of not having enough. Fear of losing something that you've worked really hard for. All living things feel fear. For me, that's enough reason to treat all living things with respect. I like to think of other sentient beings as my buddies, squirrel buddy, rabbit buddy, and that every one of them is doing the best that they know how with the information that they have. And that includes mosquitoes, mice, squirrels, and other pests. I'm not advocating for pest rights or arguing that everyone should become vegetarian. Specifically, I want to say that life has inherent value. And that's a key point that I would like you to keep in mind. The fear that every living thing has felt ties us all together. And starting from that seed, it is easier for me to live with and around people and things that I don't like or agree with. I find myself disagreeing politically with many people. With the adversarial nature of the news cycle, sensationalism of events, and the focus on negative emotion to garner attention, I found it was getting too easy for me to lose sight of the human on the other side of the argument. I'm unable to speak for what motivates another person, even if I convince myself I know exactly why those damn capitalists are exploiting the workers, or the woke liberals are poisoning society and challenging traditions that make our society great. I know that when I succumb to those thoughts, I can get pretty worked up. I don't know what's motivating someone else. I don't know why they're doing the things that they are doing. And thinking about the nebulous other separates them from us, and that makes it real easy to commit atrocities. Dehumanization of groups is what allows horrific actions to be taken. Sure, we can kill all of them because they were born somewhere else, or they said that they think something that I don't agree with. In fact, we have to in order to protect ourselves and our children. Boom. And there it is. Fear. The want to protect is known by anybody with children, anybody that cares about anything. And the want to protect is a response to fear. Because if there was nothing to fear, we wouldn't have anything to protect from. And that's the point that I'm striving for. The motivations for people when they do something you disagree with, if they cut you off in traffic or if they vote in a manner that seems unconscionable to you, usually they're acting out of fear. To act out of compassion would require thinking about how your actions affect others and then adjusting your course to allow for others to live their own lives. I'm not advocating any ideology or course of action. I'm trying to illustrate how people respond to situations when they feel something that they own, earned, or deserve is threatened. Then the discussion moves away from the surface topic into a proxy conversation, where one person says universal health care, and someone else hears socialism or communism. When that happens, we're not in the same conversation anymore, and often neither party realizes it. That breakdown in communication is insidious and can lead to strained relationships and even to violence. I'm trying to generalize here, but you may have noticed that one person not hearing what the other one is saying, even though one person is talking and the other one is listening, relates to every interpersonal reaction that we have, from work to intimate relationships. I bring all of this up because, for me, there are actions that people take that don't fit the situation. I've never understood fighting over words. I've wanted to, and I've come close to it. But in thinking about it afterwards, I can't imagine a single group or order of words that would cause me to risk my freedom, because the trade-off just isn't worth it. If I get arrested for fighting someone who called me names, what did I accomplish? Did I teach them anything? Did I teach me anything? I just added more negativity to the world. What is it about words that can set us off so explicitly? After much thought, I think it has to do with words touching on ideas that we already have about ourselves, either challenging those ideas or reinforcing them. I'm not a great chef, but I like to cook. I was self conscious about my ability to cook because why would somebody like to do something that they were bad at? I entered situations preloaded with, I am not good at cooking, so I don't need anyone to tell me that I'm bad at cooking or I'm good at cooking, and anybody who thinks otherwise is wrong. That preloaded emotional baggage denies reality, though. I am not objectively 100% good or bad at situations, activities, or relationships. What I was afraid of was other people noticing my flaws and then labeling something that I did as bad. And for a long time, I saw the world in terms of good and bad. And for some people, that works. For me, it caused a lot of emotional pain because of how bad I was at everything all of the time. And it turns out that I wasn't bad at everything all the time. I just had a poor outlook on my skills and abilities. So, how do we break out of that? Changing the words helped me. Now I try to look at situations and outcomes as productive and unproductive. Productive actions move me towards my goals. Unproductive actions do not. Simple. Unproductive isn't bad, it's just not moving me toward my goal, like chocolate cake or binge watching hours of Netflix. Rocks aren't productive, and rocks are really cool. Art isn't productive per se, in the sense that artists often work outside of the typical economic model. But art is a necessary part of the world and to our experience as humans. I know I'm trying to split hairs here, and I could easily justify anything as being anything depending on the situation or how you look at it. But that's missing the point. I'm talking about how I view myself and the things that I do and have done. I'm talking about changing my actions to meet my goals, to avoid wallowing in self pity. I'm not trying to convince you to do what I do. I'm sharing my story and my thought processes in the hopes that it might ring true for someone who stumbles upon this video. What does all of that have to do with universal fears? Well, for me, fear was the driving motivation for most of my life. I wanted to be perfect. I had to get good grades, never get in trouble, always have the answer, read all of the books, know everything. I needed to be the best or the most prominent because I was so afraid of what would happen if I wasn't. I didn't know what would happen, but I figured it was something really bad considering how upset everybody got whenever I came home with a bad grade. You want to hear something really funny? Assassin's Creed, the video game series, changed my entire outlook on life. And not because I wanted to be an assassin, but because of the Assassin's Creed. Nothing is true. Everything is permitted. That phrase shifted how I think about things. See, I was raised in a rigid Christian background. Part of that rigidity was not being able to ask questions about things I didn't understand. For example, transubstantiation, the Catholic belief that the communion is the literal blood and body of Christ, that the priest, as he performs the rite of communion, it actually turns the bread and the wine into flesh and blood. And I was really confused because that didn't make any sense. And when I asked adults about it, they would say the standard Catholic thing. Well, of course that's what happens. Everything that God does is true. So as a child, I figured out that there are true, capital T, things, and true things, stuff that everybody pretended was true or convenient without asking questions because it made society flow a little bit smoother. And that conclusion that I had come to on my own and did not verify with anyone because of the true thing caused me a great deal of pain. I felt like there were things I was supposed to know that I just didn't. I didn't know how to have a girlfriend. I didn't know how to do my taxes. I didn't know how to be an adult. And I was so busy beating myself up for not already knowing about these things that I didn't notice that that's the way it is for everyone. And so it was that saying from the first Assassin's Creed game. It broke through my assumptions about how the world is supposed to be. And if there is no one way the world is supposed to be, then by definition, I can't do it wrong. Without a benchmark, of right, correct, or perfect, wrong has no meaning. Things that I decide are important because I decided they're important, even if I'm the only one that thinks so. And that's all it takes. And with that, I've been able to reduce the effect that fear has on my decisions. I'm not unafraid. I'm just trying to act in a way that comports with reality. Reality doesn't care about good, evil, bad, moral, whatever. These are constructs that we impose upon our lives, and we have the power to change them. We're allowed to change them. And even if nobody else agrees with you, you're still allowed to. I think that'll be all for now. If you guys like what I'm doing, let me know. And if you don't, also let me know. If you want to help me figure out ideas for videos, let me know. Luckily, you can do all of those things via the comment section below and by liking or disliking this video. And if you're feeling really, really special, you could subscribe for more. Right now, I'm setting an upload schedule for once a week. Slowly, as I get better equipment and more time, I can make these videos look and sound better and increase my ability to make and publish them. But, until then, I want you to have a great day. See you next time.